Welcome, one and all. That wasn't what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. All right, the first Signals from Mars of 2024, and I am joined by an illustrious cavalcade of gentlemen from around the world. Let me introduce them to you as we kick things off here. In Kentucky, we have the grandfather of the group here. Ed, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty great. Thanks.
Awesome. Out in Idaho, one cavalierish gentleman. We have what are you showing us on screen there, Brad? Um and by the way, if you are seeing this, whether it's live or the replay, what Brad is trying to show you is this. For $20, you can get your own Signals from Mars t-shirt. There you go.
That's really nice. I'm just going to say this is the Signals from Mars logo makes it 10 times better, but the shirt by itself is a really nice shirt. It's very comfy.
We can thank Anthony Mackie for the logo design. All right.
Thanks, Anthony.
And the politician of the bunch, we have Johan. Johan, I see that you have a Band-Aid on your finger. Did you cut yourself cooking by any chance?
Yes, I did. Actually, today was the day that I cut myself again. I've done it probably 1,000 times, and today it was the 1,001 time. So, yeah, I'm a politician and cook. Yeah,
there you go.
What were you slicing there, Johan, besides your finger?
Brad, I cut myself on a refrigerator. So, yeah, so much fun about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we had a teacher who would always tell a story about working in a deli and how one of her coworkers, was on the old deli machine slicing ham.
Ouch.
And she was supposed to be making, the joke was ham sandwich, and she ended up making hand sandwich because she cut a slice of her hand with the machine. So there you go.
That's terrible.
Joining us in the chat is Mr. Sean Richmond. And
hey, Sean.
We have, including Sean, everyone here present at the moment is a patron on Patreon, on the Signals from Mars Patreon. And Sean has been suggesting a bunch of different videos lately. And we've had others sent in by Mike Jones. Metal Dan sent some in to me yesterday as well. So I'm all about letting people's voices be heard. And if you want to check out some of the cool stuff that Sean is sending my way, join us on Patreon. You can do so for as little as $2 a month and chat with this merry batch of fellows. Brad, you did that on purpose.
I did. Well, it's $2 a month.
Right. Okay.
Best $2 you could possibly spend.
There you go. So
best $20 you could possibly spend right here.
Anyway, so today's show is going to be about 2024. We finished 2023 with a show about 2023, but we're kicking this show off, this year off, with talking about the year to come, what we have in front of us. We're going to talk about albums. We're going to talk about concerts, festivals, anything else that may pop in our minds that we're looking forward to in this year. So, all right. So right off the bat, I know that there have been a few releases that have come out so far that we've talked a little bit about. I posted a few Saxon videos this week. And Jeremy is away this week, so he didn't join us tonight. But shortly, Jeremy, or Yes, Jeremy and I will be recording an episode talking about January's releases shortly, is what I'm getting at. We're almost at the end of January, and I'm sure the Saxon album will come up, and that's probably one of the first releases that people were looking forward to for 2024. I know one of the biggest things that people talked about in Patreon was that they were kind of expecting something a little different from the band. It seemed like the lyrics were kind of pedestrian and that the music kind of was people expecting something else, basically. At least some of the comments.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Um, I guess some people are saying that they expected something different given their history. So,
Hmm.
anyway, and also the other thing you have to throw in there is that they have a new component in the band that I don't know how much they let Brian Tatler write, but obviously his pedigree with Diamond Head speaks for itself.
I think there's 3 songs that he had the initial riff on.
Okay.
So yeah, they got him involved. I mean, put him right in the band. And I don't know. I see that's funny because I thought the album was significantly better than like the last 3 albums.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought they actually kind of it's like, yeah, the production much better. Far less overdubs and stuff. And I know they used what's his name? Judas Priest guy. Help
Andy
me out.
Sneap.
Yeah, Andy Sneap. They used Andy Sneap. They claim that he's their producer and they're letting him produce Judas Priest. Interesting thing. I heard Biff talking about this that Judas Priest album. They've been working on it in Las Vegas. I wonder where. I'll have to look into that. But of course, that's obviously done. But I think the Saxon album is fantastic. I think lyrically it's actually better. I thought the last one was really kind of phoned in. It was just kind of. I mean, lyrically, it was. I don't know. I think this album's significantly better than the last one. But I guess that's the cool thing about music is one of us can think it's great and the others think it's like, eh. So.
Okay. So, all right. So let's talk about music that we're looking forward to coming out in 2024. Ed, let's kick things off with you. Ed is our extreme metal expert, and I'm sure there are things that that you have on your list that you want to hear, that you're looking forward to hearing. What's some of the stuff that you're looking forward to hearing in 2024?
First that comes to mind is I believe Anthrax should have a new album this year.
Ooh.
Am I right about that? They've been working on one, and I think they said it'd come out sometime this year.
Yeah, I heard either late this year or early next. So
Really? Might be that long, huh?
Yeah.
So we don't know really.
Well,
Well, I would like to hear that
yeah,
sooner rather than later.
things to consider is that Charlie's playing a lot with Pantera this year, and Mr. Bungle just announced dates, which Scott is a part of.
Yeah.
And Joey's got his Journey tribute thing going on as well. So
Yeah. Unless they put something out, it may be an off year for some of these bands because I feel like a lot of them have just released records in the last year or so. Now, Testament hasn't had one in a couple of years, but I haven't really heard news of what they're doing because Alex, or who left the band recently?
No, Alex,
the drummer.
Yeah. But they have, they brought Lombardo in for like a hiccup, which to me in hindsight made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because they brought him in for essentially a tour, got rid of Gene Hoglan, and they're of course claiming that the new drummer that they have is putting, pumping new blood into the band because he's a lot younger than the rest of the members of the band. So,
well, that'll be interesting to hear. I'll be excited to hear it when they do.
Yeah.
Of course, now and this will be a big holiday for me, is when Kerry King releases his new album,
Ooh.
which he said he's going to have Phil doing the vocals.
Has he confirmed
And
that?
yeah, that was in the news in the last week or two that Phil's going to
Okay.
be the vocalist. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they were saying that was a solid, info. And, regardless of how Phil might end up sounding live, they can at least do their studio magic. So I'm hoping that the record's going to sound awesome. I'll probably take off work and just wait for everybody to be gone and turn it up to 11 on my stereo and enjoy hearing those Slayer sounds again. Because Kerry said it's going to be, extension of Slayer, which is what I was hoping. I want to hear that sound. Just kind of like, and I don't see how it couldn't be, because it's just like with Dave Lombardo, with
Mhm.
all his bands. Have you ever noticed in Phantomus and the Empire State Bastards
Mhm.
and some of the other stuff he's done, Mr. Bungle, you hear Slayer in those records that he's playing on, even though it's another band's music.
Yeah, it's his signature
You
sound.
almost feel like it affects the guitar player sometimes. It makes that guitar player sound a little more Slayer-like.
Right.
But so, I mean, yeah, how could Kerry not sound like that either? So it's going to be a lot of what people have heard in the past, but people like me are going to love it. And, like I said, a lot of the bands that I'm enjoying right now, I feel like they just released records, so I'm not too sure what else might be coming out. Unless you've heard of anything. Death Angel, maybe. It's been a couple of years since they've had something.
Yeah, that's the other one that I was going to mention. I know Sacred Reich is working on a new album as well. Testament, I believe I read somewhere that Alex Skolnick said they had 5 or 6 songs written and they had a few more to do. So yeah, that should all be interesting. My question to you with regarding to Kerry King and his band, how long until he realizes that the Slayer name garners him more money, and how long until we see some type of infighting where he wants to go out under the name Slayer because it's going to make more money
Yeah.
for him?
I really hope that never happens. That'd be disappointing. But yeah, you never know. I can't say it, everybody's different too. So it's hard to know, but yeah, money is awfully powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be disappointing, but if you enjoy what he's doing, with his first solo release, would that make it easier for you to accept him playing under the Slayer moniker?
With that band in particular, I mean, I would still listen to the music, but I'd still be disappointed in him trying to use, because Slayer is the one band to where to me, it's Dave Lombardo, it's Tom Araya. They're so, I mean, especially Tom, his vocals is so much of the personality of that band that it can't be Slayer without him, just as much as it couldn't be Slayer without Kerry. That's just in my mind. So with that one band, that would bother me a lot, even though with other bands I may not care so much.
So here's devil's advocate for you, because we've already seen that Jeff Henneman was replaced with Gary Holt.
Yes, and I had a hard time seeing anybody replace Hanneman, but Gary was a good, almost perfect replacement for him. Because I've always enjoyed Gary's playing. He's a nice, thrashy, heavy guitar player. He's grown up with those boys since the beginning. He was the one guy that could do it. I think if it wasn't Gary, I probably would have lost a lot of interest maybe in the last record they did. Of course, it also depends on how it turns out in the end. I make my final judgment when I hear the artwork that you produced.
Yeah, because Holt isn't a part of this new project, if I'm not mistaken. He's
not supposed to be. He says he's too busy doing other things.
But see, that to me boils down to, once again, money.
Yeah, it could.
Slayer, to me, I think the Slayer brand name makes more money than the Exodus brand name, but the Exodus brand name probably makes more money than the Kerry King name does. It's more established.
Well, yeah, for now, for sure.
So
It'd be hard to see. I don't know. You never know. I mean, Exodus has such a deep history. It'd be kind of hard to see Kerry coming up with a side project that could be bigger than that. But still, it's Kerry King, the man, one of the men who built Slayer. We'll see. This will be exciting.
does he do No Sleep Till Brooklyn live since he played?
Please, God, no.
Johan, an album that you're looking forward to in 2024.
Mm. First of all, for the record, I would like to see Alex and Getty do something together.
Hold on. We'll get to that later. Albums first.
Okay. Yeah, that was the wish. Yeah. An album. Crazy Licks are releasing an album in March.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Crazy Licks is a Swedish band. They play 80s metal, and they do it really well. They're releasing an album in March, and I think it's only, I don't know, but the songs they released so far are pre-recorded songs of early albums, but in a modern way, and that's better this time.
Okay.
And this one of the songs are Sword and Stone by Kiss or Paul Stanley. Victor?
Right. Paul Stanley wrote it, and then it's been covered by Bonfire's probably the most famous one. I think Bonnie Tyler or someone like that may have covered it as well. There's someone that's known for pop music that's covered it. It's been covered a bunch of times.
It's a good song. So if I have one album, just right off the bat, it's Crazy Licks. Perhaps an odd choice, but I really like that band. Very talented. So,
Okay, so let me ask you this: with Crazy Licks, Eclipse, all the other bands that are kind of doing 80s type hard rock, who do you think out of all the Swedish bands is the one that people should check out? Is it Crazy Licks or is it someone else?
Oh, we have a bunch of them,
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Crazy Licks is my favorite since a couple of years, but we have I can't point out just them because we have so many of them from the the Sunset Strip era bands, and they are really good. So now, but Crazy Licks is one of the best, of course, because they tour the world and they get a lot of quite big gigs, I must say.
Okay. Excellent.
Crash Diet, of course, but I think Crazy Licks has a bigger worldwide audience. I don't know, just based on the social media. Perhaps they are better on social media, but I think that Crazy Licks are ahead of the bands right now.
Okay.
But if you have a different opinion, please let me know.
Okay. Brad, how about you? An album that you're looking forward to?
Okay.
Good.
It's going to be probably the best album of the year. Okay. and it's going to be Kansas with Blues Cerceno playing guitar. How's that for getting two of our? There you go. They're going to bring back that album cover, but they're gonna Photoshop Blues in there behind the guy in the front. Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that. I have a question for Johan. I see he's over there cutting something. Crazy Licks. I don't know that I've seen them playing in the U.S. Have they toured here?
They done a lot of the boats tour.
Oh yeah, the cruises. Yeah. Everybody gets on those cruises. I don't know how they pull it off and not. They should play here too. I mean, use the cruise to get over here. I know it's tough. It's expensive. Of course, Saxon album was one I was really looking forward to, and I'm very happy with it. I'm enjoying it a lot, but we already talked about that. The new Judas Priest album, I got to say that I really like what I've heard off of that, and I'm kind of excited to see that, or listen to it, I should say. I'm not going to really watch it.
You could.
Bruce Dickinson. We have a second song.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear the album. What was the other guys? The one that Derek Sherinian's doing, Whom Gods Destroy.
Yeah,
with Bumblefoot and Dino Jalusic singing. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Dino. Yeah, there you go. That I'm interested to hear, and I wonder if they'll actually play. I wonder if Dino will actually go out and tour with those guys. That's the problem with a lot of these things that come out now. It just seems like they're projects and not real bands, and as far as being able to see them, tough. So we'll see what that's like. But those are the ones I've kind of got on my radar.
Yeah, for me, I was definitely looking forward to the Bruce Dickinson album. That was the biggest one for me, but these first two singles have kind of left me cold. Instead of Bruce kind of doing his thing as he has in the past, I feel like it's Bruce with leftover Iron Maiden material from the last few albums. And it's just not exciting at all. And as detuned as the guitars may be, as kind of that kind of heaviness that is being added that Maiden doesn't add, there hasn't been anything that's really wowed me yet. And unfortunately for me, the Judas Priest kind of falls into the same category. I think that the songs sound okay, but there's nothing that's kind of like, oh shit, this one's really caught me. Whereas with Firepower right away, the title track and then the other two singles that they released shortly thereafter, really got me enthusiastic for the album. And maybe that had a lot to do with the fact that I didn't really care for the previous few albums. But this one, what I've heard so far to me has been kind of lackluster. I don't know. I'm hoping that there will be some deeper cuts that I'll be into.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the videos have distracted me from the music. So I'm looking forward to just actually listening to the album. Another one that sounds intriguing is North Sea Echoes, which is Fates Warning boys.
But everything that we've heard apparently is what the rest of the album is going to sound like. It's just the two of them and acoustic or just one guitar. There's no drums, there's no bass on the album.
What? Okay, screw that then. There's no bass. I'm out.
If I read the press release correctly, which maybe I messed that one up, but I believe it's just the two of them, the entire album.
Well, then screw that one. Scratch that. Okay, let's move on. Lords of Black have a new album coming out, and I never get enough Ronnie Romero. So I'm actually giving a pass to those guys because that is like a real band. They've never played over here that I know of, but I do
Right.
like their stuff. I'm excited to hear that. And believe it or not, I mean, I'm kind of interested to hear the Mick Mars album, all of it. 'Cause we got about
Yeah,
3 songs.
the Mick Mars album, to me, the 3 songs that I've heard actually sound
Pretty
kinda
solid.
cool, and I mentioned it, I believe I posted a video off of it today, that
Yeah.
it's kind of what I wanted Motley Crue to do with that last album and some of the stuff that they've done since. You know, you can tell that Mick is still trying to write some heavier stuff, and I know right away after this 3rd single was released, we started getting bombarded with John 5 interviews, at least
Oh,
reading
yeah.
about them. So I'm guessing that Motley Crue is going to release their new music around the time that Mick drops his stuff, just as a way to screw with him, especially since he's already won kind of the first round of court hearings that they had. So
Hmm.
so we'll see.
That will be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I can jump in, I mean,
sure.
Please.
Mick Mars is a legend, and if he releases a soul album, and in this time and this age, I I'm going to buy it directly. Uh, it's so exciting to see what he has to, Mick Mars. I mean, he's always been in shadow of the other 3 guys in Motley Crue, so I think it's going to be nice to hear what he has to, and probably good because the songs that we have heard they were good. So yeah, uh, sorry, my English is so yeah. we I pause, but yeah, I have a lot to say about Nick Mars. I
Take your
respect
time,
him.
Johan.
Yeah,
No
I
pressure.
yeah, I respect Mick Mars. That was what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Okay. To me, it was interesting hearing this last single and thinking back about, especially with the first 3 albums, some of his just really good, solid soloing that he's done on a lot on those 3 albums specifically, where he probably doesn't get the recognition that the other 3, like Johan just mentioned, but because a lot of that recognition also has to do more with stuff that happens outside of the studio or off the concert stage more than the actual music, which kind of sucks because you think about. I was thinking about it today or yesterday when I posted the video. I scheduled it. I think about a track like "Fight for Your Rights" off of Theater of Pain. It's the last song off of Theater of Pain, which the song onto itself probably isn't that big of a deal in comparison to the rest of those 3 albums or to their catalog, but the solo off of that is just so good. So I think back at how Mick hasn't garnered that attention that the other people have through his music, but because I think by the time we got to, Girls, 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 or even, Dr. Feelgood, his soloing, I think, was kind of cut back by that point. It wasn't as like extravagant or out there. And I'm not saying that he was Yngwie Malmsteen, but some of those solos, you go back and listen to them and you think, wow, he was really on the top of his game. He was really, I think rubbing elbows with George Lynch and Vivian Campbell and some of the other people. I'm not saying that he was better, but you listen to some of those solos and you think, yeah, he was a gunslinger back then,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, you think of some of the big singles that they've had after that, and his soloing kind of wasn't what wasn't there. Again, listen to something like the solo off of Look That Kills. I mean, it's not Inve, but it's something that it hits the sweet spot when that solo comes up, you know, it's right. It propels and takes the song to another level for me.
Well, you can remember a Mick Mars guitar solo as opposed to an Yngwie. You know, his all of his guitar solos are memorable, just like
Right.
George Lynch and Warren DeMartini and all those guys. You can remember those guitar solos in your brain when you're singing those songs to yourself.
Yeah.
And also, Mick Mars, Motley Crue, the sound of Motley Crue is mostly in Mick Mars to me. He's got a tone that no one else has ever matched. You
Mhm.
know, it's his own personal tone. It's really in his hands. And yeah, like you said, great riffs, great guitar solos. And without him, just like Slayer without Tom Araya, in this band, it's not Motley Crue to me without him. And, you know, really, the only guitar player in the world they could have now is John Five, because that guy has a pretty amazing ability to mimic someone else's sound,
Right.
like you heard in those Van Halen cover songs he did with
Mhm.
David Lee Roth. He's the one guy that may do justice with Motley Crue, but it's not going to, that tone will not be there
The
that Mick has.
the thing is now the rumors are, and I don't know if the band are the ones that have been floating this out, that everything after New Tattoo was John Five to begin with.
Uh,
So I don't know if that's true or not. I know that there were rumors that DJ Yashba had his hand in some of that stuff
mhm.
as well because he was working with Nikki. But yeah, I mean, John Five is a ridiculous player. So I'm hoping that he helps take them someplace else where it makes the music
Yeah.
worthwhile because we know how talented he is. And I know I'm trying to think of, I was listening to a conversation that on another show where they talked about how John Five's work and Rob Zombie wasn't really that good and this or that. And I'm thinking, maybe you really haven't listened to him in John Five because he's done some, or in Rob Zombie,
Yeah.
he did some cool shit in that band and some memorable riffs where the riffs themselves, you know, it's a classic thing where you're humming along to that riff with the lyrics in your head where, you know, so
Yeah. You know, being in an industrial metal type band is not a good place for someone like John Five.
right,
He's not going to be able to shine as much as his talent should let him.
right.
So it's good to see him go off and do other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think he had the solo albums that he's released as well. And
Yeah.
his day job helps those types of things take place, you know?
That's right.
All right. So my next question shows that you guys are looking forward to seeing some tours that have been announced, some festivals that have been announced. Um, let's talk about that, Brad.
Before we move on,
Okay.
how about Ace Frehley? He's got a new album coming out.
Yeah,
He
you know
does.
what? And I love Ace, but he's really fucking everything up with his comments in the
Oh, for
media.
sure. Yeah,
You know, I,
he sounds like an old man.
yeah, I
He
get that.
says some dumbass things.
I get that Gene and Paul have been slagging him for years and whatnot, and a lot of what's coming out now, it makes me feel that it has to do with the fact that he didn't make any money off of those two with this end of the road tour, and he was banking on it. I know some behind the scenes stories that would make a lot of people go, "What the hell's going on in this guy's head?" But you know, it's his prerogative. Who knows if what I've been told is true anyway? But yeah, I'm looking forward to the album. The album comes out next month, and we've only heard one single so far, so that kind of frightens me at the moment. I'm interested in hearing the rest of the Steve Brown and PJ, the two guys from Trickster,
Mhm.
plus
Yep.
Joey from Z Rock from ZO2 is involved in this album as well. I mean,
Oh, and yeah.
what I don't get is why he didn't write with the band, because they're ultra talented guys, and it seems like they're brought in to do these tours, but nobody's writing with them outside of Accept. you know. So I mean, I don't know. I want to be positive, but every time that I hear, it's the best. It's the best
Yes.
album since the '78 solo album. Yeah, you say that every fucking album. You know?
You were so close to doing that impression. You started and then you
What
just kind of didn't go there.
what
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
hey,
Okay.
Curly, it's the best album since '78.
There you go. Nailed it.
I'll give you the P&L statement.
Well, I can just give you his laugh.
Very good. And let's see, we got a new End Machine album coming out. I wasn't real impressed with the first single, so we'll.
I'm still trying to see. Here's the thing. That second Lynch Mob album to me, look, I think the first Lynch Mob album is classic. But that second one with Robert Mason,
Yeah.
you kind of get rid of that Queen cover, which why the fuck did they cover Tie Your Mother Down?
Yeah, Tie Your Mother Down. Great song, but yeah, the solo in that is ridiculous.
But,
Like not in a good way.
but it's just bland. That cover's just
Yeah.
so damn bland. The rest of the album is great. There's
Yep.
there's a bunch of songs towards the end of that
Mhm.
are just so good, which
Yep.
rival what he did with those first few Dokken albums. And I get it, all right, so we bring Robert back, we bring Steve Brown in, okay. And it seemed like they were about to hit their stride. And then Robert's gone and we have Garish in the band. And I'm guessing that Jeff Pilson is probably now writing all the lyrics instead. And Jeff, to me, as much as I love him as a bass player, is kind of hit and miss with a lot of stuff. He's either great or just kind of vanilla with stuff. I don't know. Their idea to cover all these pop songs makes no sense to me at all. Why? I mean, I'd rather them cover.
And then have Glenn Hughes sing them. That on that second album was like what?
But
Yeah, that was nuts.
cover some obscure Van Halen song or an obscure Blue Oyster Cult song. Cover something that who the fuck wants to hear these two cover what the hell's the name of the guy from NSYNC? Justin Timberlake. Why are they covering Justin Timberlake? Who's going to buy that?
I don't know.
It's no different than a black metal band doing a cover of a pop song and seeing people say, wow, that's so great. It fucked with the original. Yeah, I don't care about somebody fucking with the original. I want something that's entertaining or something that sounds good. And it just, why? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. Why those two guys have to do that specifically. So
Okay, and then I got one more album I want to talk about, then we'll move on to concerts.
Okay.
And I've listened to about half of this today. Riley's LA Guns.
Okay.
Which is kind of bittersweet, being that he just died.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, I don't know if this band's going to carry on or not, but I got to tell you that the album, it's pretty nice to listen to. It's really good songs and good performances. I'm pretty impressed with it. Like I said, I've only heard 4 or 5 songs, but it's pretty good, and we'll see what happens with those guys.
So they have announced the show without him, at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not M3.
And it's not M3. It's somewhere in Connecticut or something, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah. Well, anyway, from what I've heard on the album, I really like it, so I would encourage people to check it out.
yeah.
Right.
Real quick shout out here to Tony in the chat as well. Another one of my great patrons. Thank you, sir, for joining us. He says, Ace Frehley, ack.
Hey, Tony. Yeah.
So anyway, all right, let's go back to Ed here. Any shows that or tours that have been announced that that you're interested in checking out?
You're going to laugh at this one.
What's
A Flock of Seagulls is on tour. They're coming to Lexington. I think I might have to go see that.
Of course.
And by the way, I just saw here, I was looking at they're having some band called Strange Love open, which is a Depeche Mode
yeah.
thing. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Isn't that one of your favorite bands, the Depeche Mode?
Yeah. So
wait, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I know about that is because we did buy tickets to see Depeche Mode here in Spain.
Nice.
That's what I thought.
And the thing is, I was asked by my oldest son if they were playing a specific song on this tour. And I said, I don't think they're playing that song. He goes, well, that's my favorite song. And I said, right, but you have to understand that's off of not their last album, but their next to last album, which isn't one of their bigger albums. So that's replaced by something off of their newest album. We're one tour too late on this. And when I went to go look up the set list, I saw With Flock of Seagulls. I'm like, oh, so Flock of Seagulls is opening up. And then I saw, no, Strange Love tribute to Depeche Mode. So that's why I knew that was actually taking place.
Jeff Tate is coming in March, and I have a friend that wants me to go with him to see that. Pantera, Lamb of God is coming to our local arena. That'll be the first time a band like that has come here. Although I'm not going to that because I think I told you it costs like $65 to get a back row seat. And I don't want to sit in the back row and watch that. But I'm still happy they're coming. It's neat for Lexington to do that. And then Black Flag is coming here. Okay. They came here in 2013. I went and saw that. I don't know if I'm going to go this time because when I went the last time, one of their old singers, Ron Reyes, was touring with them. So that made it a little more significant to go. Mm-hmm. This time it's just going to be Greg Ginn, who's kind of a strange dude. I remember his opening band was himself in another side project where he just kind of doodled progressively in his Greg Ginn way, if you know what I mean, listening to his old, lingering guitar solos on some of those latter records of Black Flag. It was kind of like that. Wasn't very interesting, but it was kind of cool though to go to the show and hear those songs played, in a big club like that and with a crowd. And I'm going to go see Colin Hay again. That's another non-metal thing. He's coming to Lexington for the first time. I usually travel to go see him.
Oh, wow.
And of course, he's the singer from Men at Work, who's had a great solo career. I can't see on the schedules that I have here what's coming the second half of the year. I don't ever go to festivals anymore. My older body just can't handle. I also, my being self-employed, it's kind of hard for me to go out to a festival either because a client may need me at any time, but I need to be able to plug into a laptop, that kind of thing. So that's about it for this year, which is not a bad start, I think, if I hit one or two of those.
All right, cool. Johan, we were kind of talking before the show started about some of the stuff that you're looking into. What are some of the concerts or festivals that you're interested in checking out?
Well, there are Arch Enemy and In Flames are going out together, as you perhaps may have seen in the world. and they're coming to Gothenburg and Sweden. I think it was November 24. And of course, I have to attend that concert because that's Arch Enemy and In Flames. That's in Gothenburg. That's going to be something special. Besides that, this is the thing. My son is turning 18 this year, and he wants to go to Wacken.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yes, and I have never been to Wacken, but I have a friend and his son and my older son are friends, so they want to go to Wacken together, and so we are planning to go to Wacken on a bus trip.
Wow.
Yeah, quite expensive. We have not decided yet, but yeah, probably because my wife says that, of course, he has to go to a hard rock festival when he turns 18. So I guess we have to go to a hard rock festival when he turns 18. So I have to go to Wacken and sleep in a tent at the age of 51. Yeah, and see a lot of metal bands. So we'll see. But
Man.
guys, is good. But that's
Mother of the year right there.
yeah, I know.
Good
I
job.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
tell
know.
her.
I
Tell
know.
her I
I
said
know.
she's awesome, man. That's cool.
But
Take your boy.
you think that you do?
Yes. You
Oh,
gotta
yes.
do this stuff, even if it's expensive, man. These are times with your son you're never going to be able to have back. So
Yeah, I know, Brad.
do it.
I know. Yeah, I
Do it.
know.
Go all in.
Yeah, but yeah. So probably I will go to Wacken. I didn't
Just bring a
expect
bar
it.
of soap with you.
I'm a bit disappointed of the lineup at Sweden Rock this year. So far, I must say, it's good bands. I mean, Judas Priest, of course, but I have seen Priest now I've seen them so many times. So yeah, perhaps Wacken is the my new thing to see, a new experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but yeah, probably Wacken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brad, aside from M3.
Yeah, we're definitely doing that. Hopefully Shelly will be going with me. If not, I'm going to make Ed drive down from Kentucky, or maybe I'll go pick him up. But yeah, M3. Yeah, I'm not. There's just some good bands on there, but I can't even remember who all's going to be there. I'll be there. That's the important thing. For me, Saxon. We're back to talking about Saxon. They're coming to the U.S. I'm going to go to. Nathan and I are going to take your son. Going to Texas. We're going to do all 3 Texas shows: Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. And it's going to be awesome. Uriah Heep warming up. I've never seen Uriah Heep. I realize, that's kind of a tribute band at this point, but they seem that the last album was good, and yeah, they seem to be good live from what I've seen on YouTube. So I'm excited. I'm excited about 3 shows in Texas and being able to eat some good Texas food. And that would be something, Johannes, to get you to Texas with me, and we'll just eat Tex-Mex for a week.
Yeah. Is Texas food good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, it's fantastic. I do have to say, and I know this isn't the food channel, but New Mexico, which is right next door, I love New Mexican food, man. It's unbelievable. Okay, all right. Enough about food. Udo, who I love, of course, he postponed his tour last year. Haven't heard anything about it coming on the books for this year, but I know that they told people to keep their tickets. They didn't. You might have been able to get a refund, But they didn't cancel; they postponed. But I haven't heard anything about that. If they come, I'll be going to see them at least once. I'm hoping. I know this isn't a concert, but I'm hoping to see Victor on this side of the ocean. We'll see where he ends up in his adventures, and
We'll see.
yeah. Although I do have to say it'd be worth it just to go to New Jersey to eat a pizza with him and Steve and Mike. That'd be pretty incredible.
That would be a good time.
We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah. And if I'm driving out that way, hey, Kentucky's on the way, Ed.
That's right. You might have to pick me up.
Yeah.
At least I got to
Slayer
see
the whole
you.
way.
At least I got to have dinner with you or something, man. So
Yeah,
that's one of my there you go. One of my New Year's resolutions is to meet up with at least 3 Signals from Mars dudes. So
that's a good
3 different or the same person 3 times?
No, different. Yeah, ones I haven't. Yeah, I'm trying to I'm like a collector here.
Okay.
So I don't know. Metal Dan seems to be the easiest, the lowest hanging fruit of the bunch. Because I know I'll be going to LA more than a couple of times, and I realize he's not in LA, but he's close enough.
Close enough, yeah.
So I should be able to make that happen. Won't be able to get to Spain probably this year, but you never know. You never know.
Like I said, I'm sure there's still a cruise or 2 that they need to.
There you go. Isn't it? Wait, Tony, aren't you in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of cruise ships go to Barcelona. In fact, I've done that one. Spent 2 days there. It was great.
Biggest port in Europe. Biggest cruise port in Europe.
So I really want to do the. Of course, I got to get to Sweden. I have to get to Sweden. So
yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it has to happen.
Cool. So for me, I just mentioned Depeche Mode with our stateside trip. It kind of
so you're seeing him here. You're seeing him in the U.S.
No, I'm seeing Depeche Mode in Spain.
Where in Spain?
In Bilbao.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then we had bandied about seeing Metallica in Madrid. And the same exact day that Metallica is playing Madrid, one of the 2 days, Scorpions is playing a festival about an hour and a half away. And it's Scorpions and Royal Blood and Queens of the Stone Age. It's a few bands that we actually enjoy in this household. The thing is, we're going to the States 3 days later. So I don't want to go out to a festival and be out of whack for a few days when the trip to the States is already going to be, enough of a grind. So I'm looking at having to drive either from Boston to New Jersey or from Long Island to New Jersey. So tack on a festival to that and it won't be pleasant. But while we're stateside, there are a few shows that we've already seen that are going to be taking place. Much to my youngest son's delight, Limp Bizkit is actually playing in New Jersey on July 30th. So when I told him that, he started freaking out, saying, we're going, right? We're going. And this week I told him, I said, look, so long as everything lines up and hotels don't all of a sudden become out of whack after that show, then we're going to try to go. Because the other option is at the same venue. Bush is playing, who I'm not a huge fan of Bush, but it's one of these things where, all right, we're there. So I want to go to, I want to go see some sort of show. So it's Bush, Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains, and Candlebox playing on a bill. With the Limp Bizkit, you have Corey Feldman as one of
my goodness.
acts. Yeah. So
that would almost be worth it to. I mean, it's just like a car wreck,
You get a comedy show with your music show.
Well, there's a band from Sweden that's opening up as well. See if I can pull up the names of the of all the artists involved. Name of the tour is Loserville Tour.
Name that one right.
All right. And the bands are Oh, okay. Actually, Johan already answered something from this. Okay. So it's Bones, Nate No Face, Corey Feldman, and Riff Raff. And it's saying Riff Raff is only going to serve as the MC. So that means it's going to be three bands. Okay. Plus Limp Bizkit. I've seen Limp Bizkit live already at a festival.
Yeah. You want to do that again?
I
Um,
would.
I mean, I realize it's for your son, and I think that's the best reason to go to that.
Johan is saying he would see them.
Yeah, I saw them. But it was 20 years ago, perhaps almost now. But they were good live back then.
Right.
They felt very fresh at the rock festival here in Sweden. So only good memories, but I don't own a record of them, and I don't think that I have ever listened to a song from them besides from the radio. But the show was good, really good.
Yeah, my son has the entire catalog at this point.
Wow.
Listen, they're whatever you think about their music or think about Fred Durst, who most of people's ire goes towards them. They're actually really good musicians. Wes Borland is a sick guitar player. If you check out some of his solo stuff, he's released stuff under the moniker Blacklight Burns, and it's actually pretty cool stuff. If you ever saw the first Underworld movie, he did the soundtrack to that, and there's a song off of that they put a quote unquote super group together. It's Richard Patrick of Filter, it's Charlie Closter, I think is his name, on bass from 9 Inch Nails. The drummer was somebody well known as well. It's slipping my mind right now, but I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting show. We'll see. We'll wait to see. It's early on in the year. It's January, so there can be a lot of other added between now and the summer to that area. I know Green Day is actually playing as well, but the tickets are just astronomical. Similar to what you said, Ed. The last row of Citi Field in New York, where the Mets play, the tickets are $180.
That's insane.
And that's a 70,000 seat venue. They're playing a few days later at Hershey Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is about 3 hours away. And the most expensive ticket is like $100. I'm not saying that isn't ridiculously expensive either, and I wouldn't normally spend that much, but to see a show in the States while we're there, I mean, I would splurge a little more.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. The other two shows that I mentioned are a little bit more economical and closer to home, so that makes them a little bit easier to digest. So anyway, all right. Last question for everyone from tonight's show, and Johan kind of started going down this route already, so I'm going to have Johan kick this off. If there's one thing you wish would become true in 2024, music related, Johan, you already started to say it. continue your thought. What would you wish for?
Yeah, I would wish for Alex and Getty to perform live again with some drummer, new music, old music, whatever. I would like to see those two gentlemen perform live music again. And I would love to hear some Rush live before it's too late.
Right.
They are still active in music, both of them, and it's a shame that the legacy of Rush is buried with Neil, because I think they have such a big fan base, and Rush has a fan base that is beyond a normal fan base. It's almost like a following, and I think it would be good to the world to hear Rush again. That perhaps sounds a bit big, but I think you guys know what I mean. It's yeah. I would like to see Get again on Scandinavian soil, or at least European soil, with Alex to perform again. I miss those guys a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quickly here, I missed Tony's comments. He mentioned that he's got tickets to Mr. Big and Ramstein
Ooh,
in Barcelona. So
they playing together? No.
I've seen Ramstein on a pretty funky bill here in Spain. So wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, Brad, what's your one wish for the year, music related?
Oh, wow. Man, that's a great question. I know I've been racking my brain. My wish is actually coming true. It's Saxon. So, musically, Saxon in Texas, that ought to check all the boxes for me. So,
You're good with that? Nothing else?
oh yeah, there's a lot of things I'd like to see, but go to Ed. Oh, I want to see Raven. I feel like I need to see those guys now that I've been listening to so much of their music for the last year. I don't know who got me into that. Was that you, Ed?
Yeah,
I think you
I'll
pushed me.
claim that one for my list too. I would love to see Raven.
All right, so if Raven comes near Kentucky, I will make that trip. We'll go together.
Because those are the kind of bands that will come through Lexington, or some smaller acts to the same place where I like Jeff Tate's going to be. In this question, are you referring to something like projects that are about to happen, or you could dream up something?
You can dream something up.
This is fantasy land.
Well, besides bringing people back from the dead like Dimebag and Bon Scott, one of my greatest wishes before these two bands are gone, I would love to see AC/DC and Def Leppard write a good old classic hard rock record like they did back in the early mid 80s. And of course, my greatest was already spoken of is Kerry King. I love Bill, his vocal style. So I'm really excited. The one thing that I would dream is inviting Dave Lombardo over Paul. No, I respect Paul. I love the guy. He's a head brother, but he's still not my favorite when it comes to him and Dave. But yeah, I think that's I can't think of anything else. Let me also put on that list. I hope Anthrax writes a good thrash metal record. I wasn't terribly disappointed in Worship Music or the other one.
For All Kings.
For All Kings, yeah, they had some good thrashy tunes. In other words, they were getting a little more back to what I want to hear, and I hope they ramp it up a little bit more. Do the like Dave Mustaine. Still writing some good thrash metal songs that I want to listen to over and over again. So that's high on my wish list too. What about you, Victor?
Okay, real quickly, I just wanted to confirm that I did see Ramstein with on that same day. Coheed and Cambria actually was on the bill, so that's probably the wackiest one out of the bunch. But Ramstein, Alice in Chains, Deftones, Megadeth, Soulfly, Coheed and Cambria, Meshuggah, and I didn't get to see any of the other bands. It says Annihilator and a few other Spanish bands. But
Johan,
Hmm?
you've seen Meshuggah?
Yeah, of
How'd you
course.
enjoy that?
Not my kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But does the place go nuts when they play there?
of course they have. The drummer has a fan base that is like Neil Pearce. It's very special. But very nice guys. Meshuggah, very
Yes.
very nice guys.
They're
Very-
Swedish. Of course, they're nice.
Yeah, they are. Good
Okay.
guys. Yeah.
So for me, one thing that I would like to see happen, to me, it would be, and this is no surprise to anyone, would be some sort of John Bush involvement with either with Anthrax directly. I was thinking about this today. Could we see Anthrax and Armored Saint go out together now that Anthrax is going to be playing less shows? And that way, at some point, we have John come up and sing a few songs from his era. I think that they would go down well.
Here's the problem with that is that it makes too much sense for those guys to do that. I mean, it would be, if and I don't know what the deal is with those guys. I mean, I don't think there's any bad feelings between them.
There was for a long time. There is no longer at the moment, because over the course of the last few years, things got smoothed over. But when they initially split, things were bad on both sides. I think the whole Metal Alliance thing kind of helps smooth that over. But previous to that, things weren't the greatest.
Yeah, that's actually a brilliant idea, Victor. You should you should get the promoter's fee for that if they do it.
Well, and if that doesn't take place, have John go out with some other well-known people to do some of those songs. I think
he has talked about that, right? I mean,
he's talked about it, but I think that there hasn't been the demand that they expected. But I think for that to be big and draw people, you need to surround him with known players. You can't just go out with
me on bass.
Right. Whoa. Well, outside of that, but I mean, imagine that the biggest guy in the band is James Christian, who was, the bass player of Testament. That's really not going to get a lot of people in the seats. You need to get.
If they had his sister in there, though.
Oh well, that changes things, of course. No, but what I'm getting at is if you get a drummer, if you get a Dave Lombardo or a Mike Portnoy or someone who brings in, a fan base of their own, that's how you make that work. You surround him with 4 guys that are gonna pull people in, and then you sell that tour that way. If it's gonna be him with Rob Caggiano and Paul Crook and Joey Vera on bass and I don't know who on drums, then no, you're not getting a lot of people in there, because
you're talking probably 200 to 300 people.
Right. But if you need to get people that that are important within the metal community to make that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. You're right, man.
In any event, I do want to thank Johan, Ed, and Brad for joining me today. I do want to thank Sean and Tony for joining us in the chat as well. Thank anyone who's listening to the replay or watching the replay of this. We are back with Signals from Mars, hopefully every week from here on out. At least that's my plan. Let's see if we stick to that. And that's pretty much it. Any parting words before we wrap things up here? Ed, any parting words?
I'll just keep it metal in 2024. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Johan.
Go out and see shows. We see you there.
Brad.
Johan's correct. First of all, I want to say it's really cool that Tony's hanging out there, and I hope he has fun at any shows that he goes to. And hopefully Sean's still there. If Sean's still there, keep sending Victor ideas for videos to show. I've enjoyed the stuff you've been sending. Yeah, everybody needs to keep rocking. I got to be honest here. I'm still like overwhelmed with my 2023 list. That's page one. That's page one. That's page two. And I've been listening to so much music lately, which has been great. And I'm gonna do a better job for 2024 staying up with the music, not wait till 2025 to start listening to it. It was a weird year for me, this 2023. So anyway, it's good to see everybody. Good to see you, Victor. Good to see you, Johan. And of course, Ed. Ed's awesome. Ed's over here. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
As you all are too. I appreciate it.
We didn't even get to Jeremy's stuff, which is fine. It's like if you're not going to show up for the show, no, you don't get to have a list.
No. Jeremy sent a list of stuff.
Well, he can talk about it next time he's on the show.
Oh man, and it's not loading on my end.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh boy, I promised him I would read his stuff.
Yeah, Jeremy Weltman. Everybody follow him on Twitter. You can just see everything he's doing there. You can now follow Ed on Twitter as well. I'm not going to call it that.
I opened a Twitter account so I could follow Brad's Yard Metal.
See that?
Yeah, I'm planning.
I'm
secretly planning some stuff with Ed in the future, so we'll see.
Ooh, okay. So real quickly, let me go over these before we wrap things up. So thank you.
Come on, Jeremy's not going to watch this. There's no way he'll know you.
Not at all. Like he's not watching this tomorrow.
No.
All right. So he's saying Saxon, which is out. Priest, Wasp, Accept, Europe, and others. Looking forward to the Tony Martin Black Sabbath box set.
Yes. Yeah, good one, Jeremy.
Looking forward to the Heavy Metal Assault Tour with Girls School, Raven, Alcatraz, and Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good.
Let's see. Priest, Saxon, and Uriah Heep Tour. He's also, let's see, a one-off UK gig in London by Scorpions and ZZ Top with Rival Sons.
Wow, that's a weird bill.
He's looking forward to great weather for festival season. Finding a new band or two to listen to or maybe even catch live. Much to Johan's heart. Rush going for it live again. For Johan, obviously, is what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also looking forward to some great Signals from Mars shows on the usual topics.
Oh.
So there you go. We did the proper icing on the cake with that. Thank you, Brad, for reminding me.
You're
and
welcome.
I apologize, Jeremy, for not remembering. It's been a crazy day. Anyway, guys, thank you once again. I appreciate you spending time with us tonight. Both everyone here present and those that are checking this out after the fact. See you, Tony, who just said goodbye. And we will see all of you next time right here on Signals from Mars. See you, folks.
Thank you for watching the Signals from Mars live stream. You can watch the show live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, or check out replays on YouTube. Go to signalsfrommars.com for more information. This concludes our show.